If I take you back to 2022, we did not have a V-shaped recovery. We had more of a W-shaped type recovery in that market, right? Where, from the 2021 high, it took us all the way out to, kind of around 2024 to get back to a new high, in the NASDAQ, right? But we had several fundamental problems, not like I'm worried, I'm scared that something might happen like what we just went through. No. We had multiple huge fundamental problems. One, earnings were tanking. If you look at what was happening with the biggest companies that matter the most to the stock market at the end of 2022, going into 2023, their earnings were tanking. Their growth rates were tanking, right? That's a very fundamental issue. Do we have that in the market? No. Earnings look great. Guidance looks fine. Two, inflation was completely out of control. The most out of control we had seen in inflation since, you got to go back generations before. We're talking 1970s, early 1980s to see inflation that out of control like it was, right? That's a huge, massive, fundamental problem. It wasn't like we're scared, like there might be this thing that happens. No. It was like it was happening. It was going on, right? Third thing is we had an epic Fed change. Not like worries about what is the Fed gonna do. No. It was happening. The Fed was raising rates at the fastest clip we ever seen them raise rates in modern times, if not ever, in the history of the Federal Reserve. I mean, the way they went from basically 0% Fed funds rate to 5% plus, it was like in a snap of fingers, man. It was up in a straight line, right? And that's because that inflation is out of control. That's not a worry. That was like an actual fundamental issue working against the market. And then you had Russia, Ukraine on top of it. Not like, well, there might be something, there might be a conflict. No. Like it actually happened. That's why 2022 happened. And that's why 2022 was not just straight down, straight up. It was a process of going lower and lower and lower. And then as we climbed back, it was a process of going higher and higher until we finally got back to highs, after, multi-years. What we went through recently, talk.